Welcome to Minds on a Mission, the podcast where we explore the journeys that challenge us, change us, and chart the best course for our best selves. You can find Minds on a Mission on pretty much any streaming platform of your choice. I'm your host, Samantha Bailey, an entrepreneur and content creator, and today's lovely guest is Jennie. Hey!
Hi!
I know, I always say I'm like, one day I'll get it figured out, but lost my words. But sound effects.
That's right. Right. Drum rolls.
Yes, I just envision like when I think about this podcast like down the road, like I'll have an action and like someone can actually do sound effects like during the show.
Oh yeah. It'll be here. It'll be here.
How are you today?
I'm doing good. This is my first real live podcast. And so it's kind of exciting. It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I like it too because the thing for me is I'm a perfectionist and I really pushing myself into stuff that forces me not to be a perfectionist. And so this is like one of those things. It's like you're going live, you can do it. It's out there. Like, you just gotta.
And it forces you to be genuine because lying on the spot is really hard. It's really hard for people, and then they can't keep up with it. And so it's a really good way to let your audience really get to know you really well. So
right.
I love it.
I'm not good at lying. Like that's nothing I've ever been good at. Like I told my mom there's one time where for a second I thought about I was like, I'm gonna steal this $20. I really want to. And I told my mom, I was like, A, I have a really bad guilty conscience. And B, I'm not good at lying, so I would never eat. And I immediately told Mom after. I was like, Mom, I thought about it, but I would do it. I promise.
Yeah. I get the guilty conscience just horrible, and I can't follow through with it. And there's no reason for it. It's not like I was beaten as a child or anything, It's just, I've just never been able to do that really well. It just and there was a problem at times when I was working as a paramedic because you have a critical patient and the family members are there. Are they okay? You're like, how do I tell you that no, they're not okay, but yet you not upset you? How do we balance that? And so there was a lot of learning curve in how to soften things without lying because it just riles me up.
Right. Yeah, that's been my thing. Like, I don't. Sometimes I'm like, oh, it's bad. I feel like I struggle with holding. I mean, deep secrets I can, but like things that I'm just like, or like surprises. I'm not good at surprises because I'm excited, and I'm like, I just want to know. Like, I just get too excited, and I'm like, I'm having a surprise party because like, I might
just invite you at the end along with the surprise.
Yeah, and it's like I don't do it on purpose. It's just like I get too excited and then I'm like I just hear things and I'm like, well, like for my grandma, I was making her painting for dog. And I just couldn't keep it like from her. And I was like, Grandma, I could have kept it, but I couldn't.
Yeah. Well, sometimes the anticipation is so much fun. It's it's kind of like Christmas Eve. It's like you barely stand it.
Yeah, I'm too ready. I'm like, because I'm like, Grandma, look, and I like showed her like the painting. I'm like, I could have waited, but
no. Sometimes it's just better just to share what's in your heart. And your grandmother probably, as much as she loved the painting, loved the fact that you couldn't wait to share it with her even more.
Yeah. Like you give me a house.
Yeah.
It's almost done, but it's
oh. I like it.
And I just couldn't wait. I just so ready to show. I was like, Ram, painting your dog.
Too cute.
She loves painting. Me making her.
Mm-hmm.
I told her I was like, you a gift card. She's like, I don't want anything. If you want to do anything,
paint something for you. Yeah. As we get along in life, what matters most is the thought behind the gift, and a gift card is kind of a cop out in many ways. I mean, and it's disappointing when someone asks us for a gift card. It's like, my youngest stepdaughter, she's always like, well, just give me money. It's like, I don't want to just give you money, but it's what she
Right.
wants. So, you do.
That's me. Like I've always said that, but I'm also really picky. And I'm
Yeah.
just like my stepmom, so they would always get me like clothing, and I just oh, I feel
Oh,
bad, like I don't like it, and I don't like to be mean. So then I just start being like, "You just get money for like birthday, Christmas, because then I can get what
yeah.
I know I want."
Yeah. I always would ask specifically for what I wanted, which was good and bad. It was good because I always knew exactly what I was going to get, but it was bad because I always knew exactly what I was going to get. So,
Right,
it's, and I was the weird kid that's like, I want a chainsaw, or I want, I want pots and pans, or, you know, I want the vacuum cleaner. Don't not give me a vacuum cleaner. I need a vacuum cleaner, those kinds of things.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very much like, I always loved like art supplies or um jewelry or like girly things, but I wasn't as girly back then as I am now. And then now it's like being a doll, I'm just like kind of similar to what you said. I'm like, oh, just give me like a cookware or something. I don't know. Like
Yeah. Give me
I
what
like
I
a
need.
blanket. I love blankets.
Oh, you're blanket girl, huh? Yeah.
Yes, fuzzy blankets. Those are
Fuzzies.
yes.
Yeah. As long as they're not the Sherpa. I don't like the Sherpa. I like the soft ones, but not like the lamb's wool one.
Right. There's certain like fuzzy. Like I have a specific I like, and they're I have too many at this point. I have 3 on my bed. I have 1 at work because we're allowed to have it like at work, and I probably have a couple like hidden somewhere.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
upset.
Yeah, we go through them. We buy a new one. Like we just bought new blankets the other day, and then our old ones will go to the dogs to help keep them warm because it gets. We live in a 1940s home, and so we don't have central air or heat. We have window units for air, and then we have an electric heater in the bedroom and a gas heater in the living room. So it can get kind of chilly in the house, and so we use our blankets, and then we let the animals use the blankets to death the rest of the way, and then it's kind of this constant rotation going on in the house.
Right. That's like they have to sleep on my bed, so I have a pillow thing just for them, fuzzy
Oh,
blanket, and they just have to sleep there or on my pillow. Like I think
yeah,
they like it.
yeah. With 4 dogs and 2 cats, no, that's too much. My husband is enough in the bed. It's just one. It's
I get that.
but I mean, the dogs are not living too rough. Last year we had electric blankets for them. So I mean, it's because it's whatever our old one was passed down, and so yeah, Boogie, Sugar, we call her Boogie. She would come over and she would paw at it to get me to turn it on because she's the princess of the family.
That's one thing I noticed when we were like talking is that we both like have a connection. Like we love
Mm-hmm.
our pets, especially like my cat. 2 of them are my babies, and then the third one loves my boyfriend. She's like his daughter, and then the other 2 are like
Yeah, yeah. The animals tend to click with me more, but I'm here. My husband drives about 2 hours one way for work every day.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
bless his heart. And so they know me. They see me. I feed them. I take them out. And so they tend to click with me more. But he's also the one that plays rough with them, and so they kind of see me as the snuggle and him as the play, and I'm the food, even though he earns the food. I keep telling him that. It's like he's going to work to earn your food, guys.
Right.
He's got to go make puppy chow.
Like the one that I said is the cat. I can hear her. She's outside crying because
Yeah.
he's in the bathroom. He's just like
Oh,
I'm like my goodness. But they're all of them are butt babies. Just
mhm.
the other 2 are like they're always said up my butt.
Yeah.
How do you get it?
Yeah. Yeah, I call Shuggy my shadow because she's always underfoot. I don't let them in here when I'm doing any kind of a podcast or a speaking arrangement, speaking gig. Uh, Ninja is the only one that is allowed to stay in here if she's sleeping, because the others will be barking. You can barely see her back in
Yeah, I
there.
was trying to squint. I was like,
Yeah, she's a
I didn't
snowshoe.
notice her at first.
Yeah, she's very delicate. She's very cat-like. She's got the Siamese. Orange, who's our other cat, is a bulldozer and typical orange cat. Have you ever had an orange cat?
My friend had an orange cat that I watched for a while. Oh, they're
So
so sweet.
they're so sweet, but they're just orange cats. I don't know how else to say it. And then yeah, and then the dogs are yeah. They're just too noisy for podcasts.
Orange cats are like crazy. The one my friend, well, not my friend anymore, but her cat, he was very sweet. I was the opposite of orange cat's type. He would
Really?
like hide under the bed. Just a little bit of a scaredy cat
Really?
there. And he
Yeah.
was so sweet though. When he'd come out, he'd just love it, and he'd
They're
slap.
they're very, very lovey. I always say though that orange cats are almost more like dogs, because the orange cats I've had, they will play fetch. They, they want your attention like a dog wants your attention. And cats usually are a little standoffish. I want your attention when I want it.
Right.
Yeah, which can be good and bad.
Yeah. Like my cat Annie, he's like, he's kind of in between like loves my attention. He's like a mom boy. Like he's when he wants it. Usually when I'm sleeping, he'll wake up and he's like back, and I'm like, I'm trying.
It's 4 o'clock in the morning. Leave me alone.
Yes. And then the other princess, she's just like always on the bed, always wants attention. Like she has to be right up next to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I like it, but sometimes I'm like, I need space. I have to like nudge her off and I'm like, girl, go.
Yeah, Orange is like that. He wants to be on my keyboard when I'm working. And when I'm sitting on the couch, he wants to lean on the shoulder, and he'll actually almost push me out of the chair on the couch because he wants to be that close. And it's like, you're a great cat. Scritch, scritch. Love you. Working, doing something.
Right. Yeah, that's what I get. They're very neat at times.
At times, yeah.
Yeah.
But they make life good.
But then when you want their attention, they don't want nothing to do with you. They're like, nope.
Yep.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
They grace you with their presence.
Yeah. So, some of us who may not know, for any of the viewers, I mean, like, if you could tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I call myself the Beyond Mindset Mentor. And the reason I do that is because I use a technique that is so much faster and quicker than regular mindset techniques. So I came up through, I'm a paramedic by trade. I did 911 and have done a lot of medicine. And I had been diagnosed with insulin resistance about 7 years ago now. And learned how very quickly to reverse it, because I found that all of the stuff that I'd been telling people for years and years didn't work. It just didn't. And so I went in, and when I got diagnosed, I was like, crud. It's not that they're just not doing it. It's really there's something else going on. So I dug into the research, figured out what was going on. Really, it's quite simple. It's just a change in diet and lifestyle. And then all these people kept following along with me. And I was coaching them without really coaching them. And it was like, oh, I need to turn this into a business. How many of us have said that before, right? And so I'm going along doing this. And I was having trouble with marketing. I kept taking courses. I kept spending money. I kept getting coaches. I kept doing all the things. And while I had a few clients here and there, I couldn't market. I couldn't get my face out there. I couldn't have done this. And so I ended up having to go to work. My husband came home lovingly one day and said, you need a job. I need help. Because I'd made $267 in 3 years. So, that's not really fair to him, especially now that you know a little more about what he does, how far he drives. So I kicked and screamed and cried and threw a temper tantrum. And then I started working for this company. And I do accountability coaching for them. So a lot of mindset stuff, a lot of helping people kind of do that next step, breaking things down. How do we get past this thing? Well, the owners of the company noticed the same thing that I had noticed in myself, where people would get to a certain point in the program and then they disappear. They get to that point and they disappear again. And it was like, what's going on? Well, they were running into these mental blocks. And what we were doing, while some people could push through, some people were able to, white knuckle it, a lot of people couldn't. And so they taught us something called brain spotting. So brain spotting is, to be really short about it, a very quick way to move past those blocks. And when I finally did some brain spotting of my own, I realized that what was part of what was holding me back is I was trying to run a business that wasn't the right business for me. I didn't feel authentic in it. It was constantly a struggle. I was going to have to market in ways that weren't aligned with who I was. And because there's a lot of rules, since I'm a licensed paramedic, there's some things I can't say that you could say, but I could lose my license if I say it. And so I was constantly walking on eggshells. I'm not that kind of person. It makes me very unhappy. And so it dawned on me, it was like, well, what do I love right now? I love brain spotting because it gets amazing results. And so I stepped into that role, and you see me here talking about it. So obviously I'm not having the marketing issues I was, and it was all because of one session. And I'm seeing this in other people too, and other things. So it's been hugely impactful on people I know, on clients. And yeah, the next question is usually, what in the world is brain spotting, right? Okay.
Yeah, that was one. Yeah.
So brain spotting. So a couple things to understand first before I dive into it. First of all, we store memory in 3D. And you can experience this by, if you think about, we were talking about that friend of yours and the orange cat. If you think about the last time that orange cat was on your lap, usually your eyes will kind of go to where you're trying to find that memory.
Right.
Right? Okay. So anybody in the audience, you can do that. Like, if you think about what color shirt you wore last Thursday, you look for it. Another thing to understand is that we have learned as we've grown up to regulate our own emotions, to quote, self-regulate, right? When we're babies, we don't know how to do that. And we can see that when you see a toddler learning to walk. They'll be walking along and they'll fall on their butts, and then they look around. Who's looking and how are they reacting? So I know how to react. So we can actually borrow that regulation from somebody else. Okay? So in brain spotting, what we do is we go, okay, Samantha, let's say you hadn't launched your podcast yet. You wanted to launch your podcast, but it was like, man, every time I start to do this, I just get nervous and I just shut down. I just can't quite do the thing. What we would say is, okay, so where in your body do you feel that? We would find that. We would figure out where the memory was stored, and then we would process the emotion. We don't have to go back to figure out the reason why. We just need to process the emotion by borrowing my regulation. So your brain doesn't go, oh my gosh, remembering this is going to kill me. This is too much. It's overwhelming. And we can take whatever is stopping you and move it from the limbic system, which is the fight, flight, fawn response, into long-term storage. So it goes from being something that is stopping you and making you go, what the heck's going on? I can't do this. I don't know if scared is the word. Sometimes scared is the word, but now it's just like thinking about your shirt last Thursday. It has no emotion. And usually we can do it in one session, 50 minutes. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I wish I'd had it 5 years ago.
I feel like I learned things. I'm like, I don't even know.
You don't even know?
Oh, my first thought was, sorry if you saw me guys mute and go off. My cat was trying to eat a wrapper and I was yelling at her. Like,
Yeah. Yeah,
I felt
you gotta take care of the babies.
yeah, you're like in the middle of talking and I can just hear and I'm like looking over at her and she's like trying to eat a wrapper. I had a sibling before this, so that's why. And I just had to take care of it and I could see her like chewing on it. So I muted and I was like, let go of that. But like, oh goodness.
No, you're good.
Choke on plastic over here.
Yeah. Nothing like a little emergency right in the middle of your show tonight, right?
Yes, that's happened when like the other cat she was in here during one podcast and she was just meowing and I just because I was like, my goodness, I'm trying to focus, but all I can hear is her at that door just meowing and I'm like, my goodness.
Yeah, yeah. I love it when the UPS guy comes when I'm doing something, a podcast or doing a brain spotting session, because a brain spotting session needs to be kind of quiet. And then the UPS guy is my bigger dog's arch enemy. He hates the truck. As soon as he hears it in the neighborhood, he starts barking. So yeah.
Right, you're just like, sorry, my dog's being crazy.
So it's like, reach over, mute real quick.
Yeah, I know. I was like, that's like one thing I don't like is being distracted while doing something. I just was like, oh my gosh, my cat's gonna eat that wrapper over there.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big vet bill to not avoid, so that makes sense. So.
Yeah, that's too expensive.
So, did you have any misgivings when you were ready to start your podcast? Misgivings, some hesitations, any worries or thoughts?
I mean, I'm definitely someone that struggled with limiting beliefs. So my like initial thoughts were, what if no one wants to watch it? What if no one wants to know? What if it's not successful? Like I had a bunch of them, but I had been on my podcast. She has a couple, and I was on 2 episodes, and I was already thinking about like having my podcast. Like I was like, this is something I want. When I visioned my higher self, and I just kind of threw it out there. It was like, who would be interested if I actually did? I got some traction. I wouldn't say a lot. Then on what is the date? It's called like it's a very like kind of event. It's 8 and then because 2024 plus 2 is 4 plus 4 is 8, so it was like 8. And I forget the name of that. Have you heard of that? Let me real quick. 8 24. Manifestation. Yeah, the Lions. That's what I thought it was called.
Oh, okay.
Portal. Which my friends kind of got into some of the spiritual stuff. Like I didn't know about it before we met. And that was one of the things. And it just like I honestly didn't think about like, oh, I'm gonna post on this specific day that's already supposed to be for a spiritual event. It just kind of happened. Like I just kind of thought on that day, I want to post in groups about it, see what traction this is gonna get. And I post in a women's podcasting group, which I think is probably what you're in, right?
Yeah, that's where I found you. And you had a ton of people respond.
And I was like, I just randomly decided I'm going to post a group, which happens to be on 888. What do you think about it? And I didn't think about, oh, I'm going to post on the day. It just happened like that. And I remember working at the daycare. This was I quit a few months ago. And it just like it was during for the kids, and I just checked my phone and I seen all the stuff, and I was like, my goodness, I didn't think that it would happen. It just kind of happened.
Yeah, I recall that. I mean, I think you were at like 200 comments or something when I commented. I was like, if you still need somebody, because it's December 9th now. You've been You've been busy, which is good because you're building up all of this experience and all of these different conversations, which is awesome. Have you had a favorite so far?
I don't know. It's very depending. I wouldn't say favorite. I would say there are episodes where you feel a lot more connected with the guests than others. I feel like there's that season 12 where it just kind of felt natural. It kind of felt like, wow, I'm supposed to know this person, like, and just kind of
Mhm.
connect on a different level. But I love all of them because everything I've learned and, like, just kind of reflecting on, like, where I was, like, that's something I definitely talk about on the podcast is, like, how much I've grown and, like, my mindset shift when I first started maybe a couple years ago. So, it's just kind of been, like, circle for me, like, realizing, like, I'm a lot farther than I like. I'm very hard on myself, and I'm like, "Wow, like, why am I not here yet?" Or, like, I just have to, like, sit back sometimes and I'm like, think about 2 years later, like, not
Mhm.
reflecting on where you wanna be, but, like, where you were 2 years ago. You're such a different person.
Yeah, yeah, and it's amazing. I always joke about that I've kind of embraced the theory that we are made of energy. And I'm a very strong, devout Christian, so it's not like I'm believing in woo science, but in many ways it is woo compared to where I came from. Because 15 years ago, if you had told me that you can feel my energy and I can feel your energy, and we are, I don't know, what state are you in?
State, Maine.
Maine, and I'm in Texas. So there's a couple miles between us, but there really is a true energy field. And like you said, there's some people that you click with, and it's like, man, I've known them my whole life. And other people that you struggle to talk to, and other people that are kind of in between.
Mm.
And yeah, we grow and change, and it's really kind of fun sometimes to look back and see who we were versus now.
Right. Yeah. I made a video earlier, I don't know if you'd seen it, but it was compilation. It was a picture of when I was 13 or 14. I was I don't know, I was weird. I used to of me crying. I definitely see it of, like, I was crying out for help. I just was looking for, you know, comfort and different things, and, I took that picture and I said, "Does it ever get better?" And I clipped, like, a bunch of clips from, like, an event I went to last year and a concert and, like, new experiences I've made in the last few years. And just, like, I stopped watching it because I just was like, it really, my head solidifies, like, oh, I'm really working towards, like, that higher self that I see, like, I'm just
Yeah.
a step closer than I was then.
Yeah. I love that. I hope that that gets into the hands of some kids at 13 because that is such an age for that. We of course, I'm just a couple of years older than you. We didn't do selfies. We didn't even know what a selfie was at that point, but we still went through that. It was like, is it ever going to get any better? Am I wasting my life because I'm not what I should be? Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I'm going to go eat some worms. Your mom's probably said that at some point in your life. Maybe your grandmother. I don't know. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I'm going to eat some worms. Have you heard that?
I don't think
It's
I have that.
it is an old folk song from, I want to say, the 40s or 50s. My mother spoke a lot in song, so she would say verses of things. But
I was born a Led Zeppelin, so
yeah, but you might still. I mean, yeah, you can still use some of those words.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. There's some I wouldn't, but yeah.
Well, it's funny because the song I was born to is called "Dazed and Confused," but, like, the thing I, like, find funny about it is, like, I find it to be a very iconic song, like, a song where I'm like, "Wow," and I'm just like, the odds A of being born to the song, because I know there's tons of people that don't give birth while listening to music, but then also just the chance of that song, which is, like, every time I listen to it, it's just so good, even though that's not necessarily my typical style of music, like, that's something I grew up on because of my mom,
Yeah.
but just like the song, I'm like, don't mean to swear, but I'm like, it makes me feel like a badass because I'm like, I was born to that song, like crazy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a great piece of trivia. So when you're
Yeah,
making multi-millions, and I can go, well, I know what song Samantha Bailey was born to. So,
yeah. Born on a Wednesday at around
Oh,
6:30 at night.
you're a Wednesday's child also. I'm a Wednesday's child, and I was a 1:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, so 5 hours, 6:30.
Yeah, 5 hours and a lot of years different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
28, which I've heard, like, because again, my friend tells me about like this stuff, and that's how I've kind of learned about it. Because honestly, before, like, religion's kind of a touchy thing. We don't have to really talk, but like,
I don't care. Whatever
I
you
was
want.
agnostic, and I would say now I'm leaning more Christian, but I'm still kind of like spiritual. Like, I would say I'm not very much of like, you know, verbatim of like the Bible or anything. Like, I definitely read it and I connect with God, but I'd still say it's not full on because I definitely think I'm also kind of spiritual in a sense. So it's kind of hard to like exactly know what is best for how I feel.
And that's a normal part of growing in any religion, I think. I can remember walking away completely from the church.
Right.
I went through a period. Oh, there she is. Yeah.
I love Siamese.
Ninja.
I literally recently was saying that I want them. They're just so cute.
She is a really good cat. Siamese, as long as you don't mind their temperament, they like to talk a lot and they own you. Just flat out own you. But yeah, with religion, I think no matter what, and I can't really speak from any other religion because I've never been Buddhist or anything else. But I think there is a growing, and you grow closer and further away, and you make these changes in your journey. And as long as you are willing to take the time to figure out where you are and who you are, I don't think you can go wrong. I think you're going to get where you need to be in the end.
Right.
And I don't get to say where that is. And sometimes that's hard. Sometimes I'd like to be able to tell people, you need to believe this, but it doesn't work that way.
I was so like, I don't know. I mean, that's why I was like leaning towards agnostic, just because in the sense of like, it's like you do believe in God, but it's kind of for like free spirit. It's like it's not an organized. Definitely kind of like teetering more toward, and I've kind of. But again, it's one I feel like I'm so. But it's also too think about it all that much. Another factor, like I just kind of focus on growing in your person and learning and more prevalent to me right now versus like, what is my it's kind of like as long as I'm on myself, like for me it's like and just trying to be better. All the into
I think that again, I think that that's part of growing in religion, no matter what. I am to the point now where I'm kind of coming back into it, where what I found different. Don't stand in front of the microphone, sweetie. Here, come say hi. Come here, come say hi.
Is it blue eyes?
Yep.
I love when they.
Yeah. So one of the things I've been doing different with this business as opposed to the insulin resistance also is that I start my morning with prayer and actually am involving God in my business. Now, does that mean that everybody that I'm going to brain spot has to be Christian? No. Will they even know I'm Christian? I don't know if they ask. We're openly discussing it. I don't feel like it's something everybody has to do. I think you're where you need to be. Focus on building you. Focus on building your character and dabble in faith and figure out where your heart is along the way.
Right. Yeah, I think something that kind of like for me was hard was I knew a lot of people that kind of were pushing me in a direction, and like I very much am like same thing with like I was talking about this recently. Like anytime a movie or anything is trending, I will run the other way. It's not trending. Watch it. I just very much like something that's like on a bandwagon. Like I'm like, no, it's especially too, I don't like spoilers. If your was trending, that's all you're gonna get. I'm like, nope. And the same thing is like I had two people in my kind of saying like, read the Bible, and like it just was to me. I just was like, whoa, and I just ran the other like, no, I don't know. And again, like agnostic, I kind of felt the most that like related because I don't know, but something in my head. Like, there's no way all of these things happen out of nowhere. Like, oh, this is big. Like I'm just like there's something. I 100% agree in that. It just has always been the like, what is it? Or, is this how it happened? I'm not sure. That's kind of where I've just been like,
Do you know where the term Big Bang originated?
no.
The Catholic Church.
Mm.
It was actually used by a priest to describe the moment that God spoke the universe into existence. And then it got borrowed by creation or by evolution to become the moment that the universe was sparked. So it's an interesting piece of information. Just because you said the word is like, oh, I know something cool about that.
That's
but cool, yeah. When you started telling your story, so when I was in high school many moons ago, there was a boy that everybody liked, and so I wasn't gonna like him. Didn't matter whether he was a nice person. Didn't matter whatever. I was not gonna like him, and it's that same kind of I don't want to do what everybody else does, but that's also what makes you an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
That's also what makes you want to do your own podcast. Is that need to be kind of going the opposite direction of everybody else, and that's what's going to make you successful too.
Right. Yeah. And like when I was younger, I had a babysitter and she would read, a certain amount of pages of the Bible to her every day. And I think that was like part of the practice was like, no, like so kind of nudged and being like, and that's why I love my mom, and I've talked about why I want like a parent like her, because my mom very much was like, this is what I'm doing, but you're not forced to believe in what I believe in. You can do whatever you want. Like we're very much, allowed to have that flexibility to kind of, go through different paths and different things. And like I know not everybody gets that, that chance, that freedom, and I just always felt like my kids, like I'm gonna let them know, like, how mom did, but like me supporting whatever. That's just kind of like something I admire about my mom, especially.
Yeah.
And to just always just as long as you're happy, like working whatever you want.
Yeah. And it's allowing you to be the person that decides what your future is, what your fate is, what your beliefs are. And that's I don't know that when I was growing up we were told that, but there wasn't any, you have to believe this. Now we had to go, when they went to church, we had to go to church. When my dad's parents came to visit, my dad's dad was a minister. We all had to go to church and they hid the liquor. There was that kind of, of household. But as we got older, it was, if you want to go to church, go to church. If you don't want to go to church, don't go to church. And I think there's something valuable, and it sounds like your mom did it, where she just kind of laid a foundation and said, here's what I do, here's what I believe, here's where my heart is. And then now you get to go figure yours out. But mine's here anytime you want it, but go figure yours out. And then, yeah. And it can be really hard for moms to do that. So really praise her well for that, because it can be really hard to watch your child make decisions that you're like, oh, okay, really wish you hadn't made that decision, but I love you and you'll figure it out.
Right.
Kind of deal.
Yeah, my mom like was the opposite. She was very at drinking, and no, her biggest she had kids was like I basically want to be my parents. Like she felt very like there was a lot of things that he lacked that she wanted to provide him, which is really hard because when you're conditioned a certain way and you grew up a certain way to then, reverse that and be complete opposite, like, it
Yeah.
it's rewiring your brain into something you're not used to. And that's one of the things that I really admire about her is, like, she was abused and stuff, and she chose to really work on changing and to show love to her ch she didn't really get.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is hard. It is hard to, and that's why people always talk about being frustrated that they're turning into their moms or their dads, because we repeat what we've been shown, and it does take a lot of work and a lot of effort to notice those patterns and then to break those patterns. I haven't done anybody brain spotting on that part of it yet. That would be really an interesting experiment to see, as a parent, if they came in and they were like, I just keep doing what my mom did and I want to break the cycle. I bet it would work. It's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a lot, like, that, and I'm not obviously, I'm not sure what but I know that, like, a big thing, like, a lot of people are a lot harder for them to, live the life that they wanna live, to express themselves in certain ways because they're, like, so conformed to what,
Mhm.
society and, like, their parents maybe, were like, "Oh, you need to be this," and, like, I can't imagine, trying to rewire your brain and make sure that's something that you felt, you know what I mean? Because, like, sometimes I feel like it was a lot easier to work through trauma and stuff because, well, I had, support of my mom, and I
Right.
felt, in ways, smushed in a box by my dad and my stepmom for the period of time I lived with them, but, I was very lucky to at least have a supportive mom and supportive grandmother, so it's not, like, completely, stuck in the box. It's like once
Yeah.
I graduated and moved out, I didn't deal with that anymore.
Right. Right. You may find as you go through life, though, that there may be what we would call vestiges of that, little things left over, and they usually they leak out. So I grew up military. My dad was Air Force. My mom was, I won't say a great military wife, but there were rules in the house, and you had to perform and be certain people in different environments, because if somebody saw you acting up, it could actually go and get my dad fired. And so it was a big deal. You had to act a certain way. And my grandparents had been military, and my mom's dad, and etc. And even though I was raised with freedom outside of that, right? And I had grown, by the time I left home, I realized, okay, this is a problem that I have. I'm putting on masks for different people, and I'm not being who I am. And had put those pieces together, figured out who I was. I still was having trouble being who I was all the time. Some of it was in that, we were talking about the marketing blocks that I had. And that was one place that it would leak. Another place that leaked was when I was leading worship. I would get up there and it was like I could sing, because singing was kind of it was kind of freeing. But when I would go to try to pray in front of people, it would leak and I would lock down. And so there's times that these things come back and they just kind of stop us and we're stuck. And so, yeah, don't be surprised if later on in life, some of dad and stepmom's rules or things like that start to leak a little bit. And then when they do, let the feeling happen. Let the feeling happen. Know that you're going to be okay. If you need to borrow somebody's, strength, you can. I mean, there's 14,000 brain spotters around us. You can always borrow. You can always get brain spotting. You can borrow a friend to say, I just need you to be here while I feel this feeling. Feel the feeling, and it'll allow you to get past it. But you're kind of right at that 28. You're kind of at that age where in about 2 years, things change for a lot better, and some of those old ghosts start popping up.
I'm 21.
21. Okay, I thought you said 28. I was gonna say, wow, you look amazing.
Oh no, I was
So
born
yeah,
on the 28th is what I was saying. I'm a
you were born
28.
on the 28th.
Yeah,
Okay, all right. I was like, dang, you look good, girl, for 28.
21. I haven't lived
21. You're
a
still a
year
baby.
yet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
awesome,
yeah.
awesome.
I definitely would say like I don't know. I still have. It's hard because I don't like have a good relationship with my dad. I mean, I've kind of to things with my stepmom, but my thing is like I look at it and I think, say I were to have this conversation and try to work something like I just don't see like versus how me and my mom have a relationship. It just would never be that. And also, it's like I never have my guard up. Like certain things that I, like my dad would tell me things, and like I don't have a great relationship with the step family. Some trauma from that. I've kind of been the thought of say that conversation happened. Was it really going to get after that? I don't think it would ever be. Somewhere where people only talk about stuff. So I don't know, like a thing where I'm like, oh, it's unfortunate, but it's not like I'm feeling lacking. Like I used to when I was younger, and that's what I was talking about that picture was because I was craving that father figure. Like my dad was really in my life growing up, and then for the 5 years I lived with him, still didn't have a relationship. Like just wasn't there for me, and I really was looking for that, figure. Like I need this, and I've kind of gotten. I would say like I've worked through that in ways, but also like I have a really good stepdad. My mom's cousin, like he's like a father to me, and I feel like kind of healed because it's like the way he treats me and the things he does for me and the love he shows me. It's like what I was looking for growing up. This is what I
Yeah.
need. I just I never got it from father, and I ended up finally getting that figure. But yeah, I mean I would say that, but it doesn't reflect like, oh, I feel like I'm any lesser because I don't have a relationship with my dad. Like I think it's sad, but I think that I love him becoming and the people that are actually there for me. Like that matters more than that relationship that I just don't really see becoming more than what it is.
Yeah, but I will say you never know, because I was kind of in the same situation when I was your age and for quite a while after. It wasn't until probably about a year before I met my husband, so I was like 35, when my dad and I actually became friends. And it was, so you never know what's on the horizon. Not saying to let your guard down, keep your boundaries. Keep your boundaries, because not having the boundaries can really set you up for failure.
Right.
But also keep an open heart, because parents screw up.
Yeah.
We
But
screw
something
up.
like the people, like, and it's like meaning things I could talk about with my grandmother. I
Oh,
can't talk about my dad
mm-mm.
because like I'm very much someone who's high engaging content, which is like great for the podcast because like that's what I love. And I can have it with my mom and my stepdad. They're interested in stuff like that. And even my grandmother on my grandma's side. But when it comes to like necessarily with my dad, it's never been
Yeah.
something to talk about. Or even really like sensitive emotional things, which is something that like I feel like for my grandma, like I need to talk about those things, and
Yeah.
and it's just never been something,
And
it's
your
just not
dad,
like, oh, this is what's going on with my stepbrothers, or this is the drama, and I don't care, like I just about moving forward and loving and like new adventures, and if people aren't about that, I'm sorry, but like I'm focused on connections that are people that want to grow with me and do fun things and have meaningful conversations. Like some people just aren't for that. It's fine.
yeah. And the thing is that you're right. You probably will never have that kind of conversation with your dad, even if things were to get better later on. I mean, I would never have discussed the same things with my mom and my dad. My dad, we talked about politics mostly because that's what he enjoyed. We talked about politics and music and his new girlfriend who was wonderful for him. But I mean, I would never have gotten, heartfelt about breaking up with somebody or, what I was always cautious about sharing my plans for my business. Even though he supported me, it would have been a completely different conversation. So yeah, I mean, your dad's still a different person than your mom, no matter
Yeah.
what. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would like
That makes perfect
I mean,
sense.
in some sense, I just yeah, obviously it's my
Yeah.
mom is why we're so close is because we're pretty much the same person. Like I've always been so close to my mom. She always called me her name, and like she would dye her hair, I would have to cut my hair. I'd have to go everywhere that my mom would go. Like, and still to this day, like for a while I lived here because we lived in different states, and he, we decided to move back to him a couple of years ago, and he moved literally 5 minutes down the road from me so
Oh.
she could be close to me and see her at least once a week. And it's like a commitment that I made, like, you're here, I want to spend time with you. Like, at least once a week, I'm going to see you and we're going to spend a whole day together.
Oh,
And
that's beautiful. Yeah.
I'm very fortunate to have that, And then with my
Yeah.
grandma, starting to spend more time with her. She's my grandma on my dad's side. And like those things right there, like mean a lot to me.
Yeah. And enjoy them. Enjoy them. I've lost both of my parents in the last few years, and you want to get as much time with them as you can because. And piece of advice: write things down. I don't know how many times I sat at the table with my dad and he would tell me things, and after he passed, it was like, man, I just wish I had written that down because it was a piece of information that was really valuable, but it wasn't valuable at the time because it was like, oh, he's just running on again, you know? And so write things down and, get them to get mom to do. Have you seen those cheesy books where they write in their history and all of those things from when they were growing up?
Is it kind of like a diary thing?
Kind of like a diary thing where they go back and they relive memories. Get mom
Right.
and grandma to do that for you.
Yeah, we have one throughout my on my mom's side for a family reunion. Everyone writes in every year, and they've been doing that for years back. But we don't have like one in general, just only
Yeah.
for that reunion. And it was nice. I finally wrote in it this last year. I don't think I've really written in it the couple of times I've went. And I just was like, wow, this is a piece of history. Like, I'm
Yeah,
writing this that so many of my ancestors have written.
yeah, that's cool. Finally getting to take on that role
Right.
in the family. Yeah, that's cool. But yeah, it's um, it's different as you get older. Record those things
Yeah, I
because
try.
there will be a day you'll miss mom.
That's like,
And
yeah, honestly, I don't even think about that because I don't really have like panic attacks anymore, but I used to about my mom dying. Like, not even as much about myself. Like, it was just really for her that I would think about, like, what am I gonna do the day that happens? Like, how am I going to move forward? Because she really is, someone really
so
important.
important to you.
And the same
See,
thing with my grandma. I've
yeah,
had those thoughts sometimes because she's getting older. Luckily, she's on the younger side comparatively to people my age. My grandma's 68, but still, I'm like, she's getting up there, and then she starts talking about the will, and I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Like, don't
just
talk about
remember that when she's talking about the will, that's basically a love letter.
right.
That's really what it is. Is she's giving you a love letter. She's saying, this is how I'm going to take care of you when I can't take care of you. Whether or not she has enough money to take care of you for a long time, or if it's just a matter of making life easier. My dad died without a will, and that has been so hard, so very hard because the things that he wanted we couldn't do, and it created a lot of strife, and there were lawsuits across the family, and all kinds of things. So when grandma is making a will, she's saying, I love you. It's going to be hard enough to be without me. I want to make sure that you know exactly what's going on and that the law can't come in here and mess things up for us. And
Right.
so it's just a love letter.
Yeah, I know it's hard. I'm like, I'm not about materialistic things. Like, certain things are bonds. We bonded over to a long time. We'd always get matching necklaces, and we just got matching rings recently, and
Cool.
we've always gotten like together. And I told her, I was like, honestly, like if I were to want anything, like your rings, your clothes, those are like
Yeah.
things that I'm like, this is something we bond over. And then also like they kind of been decided like what's gonna go on with it. And honestly, I don't, all I wanted is that I can take care of your garden. That to me is like sacred. I'm like, if who owns it, whatever. I just want people visitation to go to the camp, to be the one to take care of the garden. That's what I want.
Yeah. And those are the things that she needs to know too, because there's something about knowing that there's a piece of her that's going to stay with you in a way that's very meaningful to both of you that makes a difference to her. So, yeah. Yeah. So that's beautiful that she's talking with you about it. And being afraid of it is normal. It's been an eye opening. When you wake up one day and you don't have parents, it's like, oh, if something happens, I don't have anybody to run to. I don't have that cushion anymore of knowing that, if the car breaks down and I'm in the middle of nowhere, that I could always call my dad. Or if I, had a heartbreak, I could call my mom.
Right.
So yeah, it can be overwhelming, but they're teaching you everything right now so that you don't have to do that.
Yeah. It so scares me. I'm like, run away from them. But I know it's so to talk about it because unfortunately it's gonna happen one day.
It will. Hopefully much later. Hopefully much later. I am 52 and I just lost my parents. I lost my dad 4 years ago. So hopefully you've got at least double your life still.
Yeah. I just live in La La Land. It's never gonna happen. Because I'm like, when I think about it, I'm like, no, I'm like gonna start bawling my eyes out. Because like my thing is, it's very much what's a panic attack, and I just wouldn't be able to breathe. And times like, please don't leave me. Like I'm not ready. She's like, I'm not dying yet. I'm like, I know, but it's not happening. I just don't want to think about it. Like
you don't know about anything. We don't know. She could live to be 120 and you could die at 80. So, you never know. Just when you start to feel that panic, feel the panic and let it go out of your body and then turn around and go, okay, I felt it. That's gone. Now I can go back to La La Land. Because you're really not in La La Land. You're really enjoying the moment.
yeah. I call it La La Land of like putting a shield over my brain. I'm just like, nope, not happening. And I know it is. Like you said, like I type right now, and I don't even want to talk about that day happening. I'm just like, it's that's the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, experiencing the sensations that you're feeling will help you keep from having to avoid them.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you have to have a friend just sitting there with you. I don't know that I'd have mom or grandma with you at that moment because trying to borrow their regulation is not going to work as well, right? But having somebody there with you just to say, I'm here and you're going to be okay. Just feel the feeling. It's not going to kill you. We're going to be okay. It's going to help you pull that shield back because I'll tell you what I regret is that when my grandmother was dying, I did that. And the way I did it was by shutting down, by not going and spending time with her because I could see that she was dying. I literally was working in EMS at the time, working with people that died all the time, but it wasn't my grandmother. right? And so I missed out on some conversations that I wish I'd had and some moments that I wish I'd had. And it's changed a lot. I did some brain spotting around that because we had okay, I know a grandmother and a dog are not the same, but to make full circle here, we had a puppy that we had gotten from a friend, and she was 18 months old when she was diagnosed with cancer. And I had to take care of her. I didn't have a choice. I had to be the one. I couldn't just shut down and walk away, which is what I've always done before. And so I did some work around it, and um, it made a huge difference. Sorry, that's my husband sneezing.
Okay. I was like, what is that?
You're not supposed to be able to hear that, but we're not on Zoom. That's right. Zoom does the canceling.
Probably could, but I still haven't figured out all the things.
That's okay. And he's there. So, um, but it's made such a difference in life so that when my mother-in-law was dying of cancer, I was able to be there for her and get those last few conversations and be in the moment and support her and the family and all those things without that shield. Right? So I encourage you, you don't do it all at once, and it's not like a band-aid that you have to rip off quick. Okay? But in the next 20 years, I want you to be able to not have that shield.
Right. Yeah, just I don't know, like same thing with my pets. Like I've had because especially Andy, like I said, he's my baby, and I just think about him like I've had the thought of one day he's not gonna be a baby anymore. You know, they're both 3, which I'm already like, how are you 3 years old? Like
Yeah.
already? Like what? And you know, I'm just thought one day it's gonna happen, and I'm like, I just want that to be the next time because like he definitely, you know, in a way is like a soulmate, you know, or my because the bond that we have and like to think about like there's so many people that don't get to feel that love of a female pet that really loves you the way he loves us. Like, he doesn't love anybody else. Even my boyfriend, you know, us being together for 4 years, he has given us a snippet, a tiny portion of what he's given me. And my boyfriend's been like, to imagine the love that you feel on a regular basis for this tiny portion he's given me of that little struggle for a moment is just like that's your something. Like, you know, there's some people that don't get that moment. And so then when I one day he's gonna die, like it just my brain wants to shut off because I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want it to happen. I want her to be a baby forever and
Yeah.
never grow up.
I've woken up with nightmares that my husband is dying, and you know, in all reality, he's a little bit younger than me. He's 49, but it's a real reality for us in our age that, you know, we've hopefully got 20 years. But he's a carpenter. He was living the Led Zeppelin life for many years. You know, he partied hard and worked hard too, and so I could lose him, and it's very scary. But there's a peace once you kind of come to the fact that okay, I'll still be okay. I'll still live. I'll still be fine. And I don't have to hide from it. I can just live in the moment. So I would recommend that you look into maybe getting either some brain spotting, some kind of one of the rapid techniques. There's so many. There's RRT, there's ART, there's all kinds of things that can help you process this quickly, so you don't have to spend years in therapy over something that hadn't happened yet. Right?
Right.
Just so that it doesn't hang, because even though you're living in la la land, it sounds like you still have that weight kind of silently on your shoulders.
Yeah.
And that can make it really hard because you're connecting, but there's this little piece of you that's kind of holding back.
Yeah. Yeah, because
And
he was in that fear just in my head, like something's gonna happen to him. I
yeah,
mean, I definitely am in action in the sense of like, I felt like I wasn't spending enough time with grandma and stuff, so like I'm trying to
hmm
because I'm like she's still here now, like she's not gone, she's still here, like, and I'm trying to get more time with her. Like I said, she's still
hmm
scared, and I'm just like, I'm not gonna have this forever, and I'm just I
yeah,
get very very sentimental, and I'm like care, but I'm just like, I definitely feel like a bit guarded, like,
yeah,
I in a special way in my head, I'm like, I need to like I in a way feeling like, "Oh, if I really let myself be vulnerable when this happens, how am I gonna pick myself back up from it?" And it's
right,
almost like I'm trying to guard myself from fully, letting myself heal entirely because I'm like, I need to find a way to, like, somehow be okay when this happens, but I just
right,
don't, like, know how to do
right.
that.
And I mean, if you think about, you know, let's go back to the boyfriend. What's your boyfriend's name?
Colby.
Colby. So when you first met Colby, there was a little reluctance there with him too, because like, is he going to hurt me? Is he going to leave? Is he going to be a jerk? All of these things. But once you opened your heart and let him all the way in, now it's like, oh my gosh, this guy's amazing and he loves me and I love him. And, he's become a natural part of your world from your language, because you're always talking about him and the cats and him and the family and all of this. He's part of your world because you opened up and it became so much more natural, right? Unless there's that little piece hiding in there that's you're waiting for him to leave too, which could be.
I mean, I definitely have a fear of abandonment, but, like, I don't know, I've also worked a lot on, like, being solid in myself in a sense, like, I feel like very much before it was, like, I felt very, like, relying on people, like, "How am I gonna survive?" Like, or, "I need this type of something, like, to keep me together, or what am I without this?" I very much
Right.
worked on, like, being my own person and realizing, like, I need to have more for myself and, like, if things happen, like, if we weren't to work out, like, knowing that, like, I can be okay if other things were to happen, like, it's not what defines me.
Right.
And
That's actually part of what probably attracts him to you is the fact that you would be just fine if something were to happen.
right, like, if we were to break up, I would know that, like
You're not going to fall apart.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But how much more freeing was it when you let most of yourself into jump into that relationship? And so when we're holding back that little piece, that fear of commitment, and in this case, committing to grandma and mom, the whole heart, they have 98%. But we have that little piece hanging out. What if we were able to go and fix that little 2% and really be in the moment with them all the time and not have that little, I love this, I love them, this is so much fun as long as I don't think about anything that could happen.
Right.
Yeah. So, and it's huge. It's huge. I have to say that when, the last time I sat with my dad, I had absolutely no thought, fear, concern. There was, I was there 100%. I had no clue because he died, he was 67, 76, 76 when he passed away
Oh,
out of
so
the blue.
that was oh, 'cause I was like 7, that would make it I'm
No,
not sure.
76. So yeah, he was 25 when they had us. I have to think.
Okay.
It's been a couple of years
How
that he
much older
passed
are
away.
they? You said 25 years?
Yeah, my dad was 25 years older than me.
I don't even know. How
Yeah.
many years would that be?
So
That'd be cutting it.
say it again.
Oh, I was asking if well, when you first said 67, I was like, how much older is that than you if he was 67? That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking.
no. Yeah, no, yeah, no, that would be a little young.
Yeah, that's what I was like.
Especially for a pastor's son. No, he was.
That's why I was like, how old is he? Like 17?
Yeah, no, he was
20.
25. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. But I mean, we had no clue that he was going to die. He was healthy as far as well, I suspected because of my insulin resistance training. I'd been trying to tell him, hey, I'm seeing these signs. I'm seeing these signs. And he kept saying, no, the doctor says I'm fine. So, um, but I would have missed out on a lot of stuff if I'd been worrying about him dying at any time.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I've been a story is like my great grandfather's still alive and he's 89 and he's been going to the doctor when I went up to see him. He would go to urgent care and I just get worried. My grandpa's stubborn and I'm like, I mean, it's so crazy to me. I'm like, your great grandpa, and he's 89, and he's like, hey, I'm 6 years younger than the Queen Elizabeth when she died, and I love it, he's optimistic, but I just, obviously, it's just a thing of like getting older, and he's already, it's the fact he's even lived this long is amazing to me.
yeah.
He drinks, Diet Thunder every day, and I'm just like, I don't know how he's still kicking, but he is, and he's still, he still has life in him. But it's just obviously I'm like, he's getting older. One day he's gonna be here, and obviously but I try of it of like he has lived a life and a lot longer than other people. So obviously, like, I'm fortunate in that sense. It's always anybody I love. I'm like, when it's gonna happen, I don't think about it. Like,
Yeah. Sounds like we've got a block. We've got something. So there probably, when you were really young, there was some kind of traumatic event. Now it could have had something to do with your parents divorcing. It could have been when mom moved away. It could have been a lot of other things. Yeah. So yeah, if you were 3 when they divorced, it's very likely that your little young brain said, "Oh my gosh, I'm never going to see them again," and went down the rabbit hole and just created these beliefs in your brain that are leaking.
the biggest one was the attention of not being the father figure. That's definitely when I was.
Yeah.
It was like anyone that came into my life, that was resembles a father figure. It was like I had very bad attachment issues and was scared of abandonment. And like I definitely still felt that even living with my dad, seeking male validation. This was like I'm not getting it from my dad, and I'm scared, of love, and like no one's gonna love me, no one's gonna stay there, everyone's gonna leave. Like I definitely would say that makes a lot of sense that I would do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I love the fact that you are 21 and are aware of what's going on, because a lot of times it takes a lot longer than that for people to figure it out. So you've been doing a lot of work already. So you're ahead of the pack. So that's a good thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's a good and a bad sense of like definitely reading things. Like it's a learning thing, but I know a lot of people my age aren't going through that, and it's like in a way it's like because like those people get those things, but then also it's like they end up having to go down the road for
Right.
figuring them out. It's like for me, feel tough because I'm like I've always felt like even since I was younger, like I kind of was forced to grow up, like a lot of people. Like I definitely carried on a lot of responsibility that, like and not in any way my mom's fault, but she was a single parent trying to raise 2 kids, and my brother. I've had a lot of brother, and he's the older sibling. He was supposed to be the one to step in and help my mom, but he didn't. And so it was me who tried to be there for her, try to step in, try to figure out, how could I help? And like for a while, I was side stuff, making money, for background acting. I would give my mom money I would make from it. And like it's just since then I've just always been like feeling that way, like I have to be more responsible than a lot of people my age.
Yeah. Yeah. And that in and of itself puts a weight on you. Um, and when that weight is lifted, it's great because then you get to be a kid again. But it's hard sometimes to peel that weight off. Um, I'm very fortunate in that my husband takes 90% of that weight off of my shoulders now. In fact, he calls me his toddler because I do get to just exist. I just get to have fun. And while it's not that I'm completely responsibility free, there's just that um, there's not the pressure to be the only one holding things together like there was when you're growing up,
Mhm.
and that you probably still feel sometimes now.
Yeah, I mean, when the few times that I would be, like with a few friends, it was like I would hold that from really doing it. I just always was like, I have to be the one to babysit everyone else because
Right.
everyone else, just can't help themselves and just have to, go overboard and do reckless stuff. And I just always felt like the mom of the group. Like
Yep.
and that's where I would still feel that like I don't really drink or anything. It's hard for me to let loose or just relax at times because I'm very much like still in the mindset of if I don't do it, who's gonna do it? Like no
Yeah.
one's gonna take care of it. And so it definitely is a lot to say on my plate, like but I'm trying to do things to like connect with my inner child and like some things is like buying stupid stuff like slime. Like, I don't need
Oh
it,
yeah.
but it's kind of like I'm trying to connect with that inner child and like, for a while we were homeless in California and so I just buy
Being
stuff like
funny.
that because I'm just like
Yeah.
it's healing a part of me that, was a kid that wanted it but couldn't have it.
Hmm.
I'm telling myself like it's okay to get those things even if you don't need it, even if it
Even if
makes
it's
you
silly.
feel stupid. I'm just like it is, is helping me feel better. So I'm definitely trying to connect. Same thing with the painting. It allows me to
Hmm.
you have to allow yourself to rest. Oh, all right, guys. Not sure what happened. Our computer must have died. It looks like mine's pretty low, anyways. Well, we're sorry about that. I'm not sure what happened. It just hopped off. But we thank you guys for coming on tonight and hanging out with us. I know Oh, you're
Oh,
here. I was doing
yeah.
an outro because I thought I was like, I don't know what's going on, so I guess I'm doing an outro. I was like, oh, computer must have died. Well, I guess we can use it.
No, I was here. I didn't know if it was an internet thing or what was going on, but yeah.
Okay.
So
Well, I know we're over the hour mark, so I don't have
yeah.
to keep you here. But I
But we've
just was
had some
like,
good
what
talk.
happened?
Yeah. But it's been good. It's been varied and all kinds of things we've gotten into and
Yes.
yeah. Is there anything that you want to know before we wrap up?
No, so usually at this point I would just have you like let people know where to find you, but I do want you to also mention the resource that you were talking about earlier for the viewers.
For the viewers. So yeah, so I'm going to be giving everybody a 30-minute um, Beyond Mindset breakthrough session. So I know we haven't talked a whole lot about brain spotting. You can find that on my website, and the links are going to be in the notes. You can dive into it. Basically, if there's something that's keeping you feeling like you're stuck, whether it's in life, in business, in school, wherever it is, um, just schedule a call and let's talk about it and see. I'm not a hard salesperson. I don't want to sell brain spotting to you if it's not going to work because then I have people that it didn't work for. I'd much rather have, 100% success rate. So I'm happy to give tips and hints to help you get past it if brain spotting won't work. And if it does, let's try it and let's play. Because if you can't play in life and help, um, you know, get things better, then it's not worth it. So yeah, it's 30 minutes of my time. That usually is $125 worth of value that I just love to have you use.
Right.
So, and Ninja wants to say hi again. She came back over
Aw.
just for you.
And if you guys want, like detailed, episode of you like kind of going into more in depth with him, maybe here on probably do that if you guys are interested. I know today was kind of us just talking. We just got into like things, but definitely if you guys want to know a lot more in depth about that, that's definitely something me and Jenny can try to do for you guys. I'm for coordinate if you take half an hour or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm happy to come back. I enjoyed today. It was good just to chat and talk about life and animals and parents and all those
Sad
fun
stuff.
things. Sad stuff, but you know what? Sad stuff is part of life, and we've got to talk about it and face it so that we can enjoy the happy stuff.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And was there other ways like if people wanted to reach out to you, what would be the best way to find?
Yeah, so they can actually just email me directly, and it's just Jennie, JENNIE, at JennieHayes, HAYS.com. Ask me questions. Don't be shy. You're not going to hurt my feelings. You're not going to upset me, and you're not a waste of time. We all get stuck on things. We all have things that stop us, and sometimes it can be as simple as just acknowledging that we're stuck that'll let us move forward, and sometimes we need more. But that's what I love to do is help people get unstuck. So let me help you get unstuck.
I love that.
Yeah.
And as for the podcast, you guys can pretty much find it on any streaming platform. I used to do a long whole thing, but I'm like, honestly, you look it up, you'll probably find it on pretty much anything. And where you can find me this would be on Facebook. I don't know, because you know how there's like a, I don't know how to, but if you just look up Samantha Bailey, if you watch the podcast, you'll it's my face. And yeah, that's probably the best way to reach out to me is through Messenger. I'm most responsive on there. And I'm trying to think. We have some stuff I want to start doing. So with this, I don't know if you want me to continue to mention it. I'd love to do that because it is a free resource that you created that helps a lot of people utilize. So I will have those links. There are a couple other ones from prior episodes. These are resources I love to guess are open to you guys, which I would love you guys to take advantage of. So definitely look for that we created the session with Jenny and some of the other stuff that we've got. There's something there that will need it. So thank you guys for coming tonight, especially you. I appreciate it. I don't know anyone who can probably talk about which cats took me that long.
my big sister was a cat, so you're in good company.
I love that.
We'll have to get into that another time.
Yes. So we appreciate you guys coming on tonight and getting to know more about Jenny and just talking about some stuff. Some of it was sad, very meaningful, and definitely real things that need to be talked about. So appreciate you guys coming on tonight. See you guys on Friday. Bye.